Let's dig into some of the most common things you'll do in the database. Retrieve rows and columns from your tables, whether they are user tables or data dictionary tables. To do that, you'll use the select statement. At its most basic level, the select statement has a total of 6 possible clauses. The select portion specifies what columns and expressions you want to view. The from clause is where you provide the table or table names you want to get your results from. The join clause is a subclause specifying each additional table. The where clause is where you limit rows produced by the from clause. The group by clause lets you aggregate rows on one or more columns. The having clause does further filtering on the result of the group by clause. Finally, the order by clause puts all of the results in a particular order. Each column can be sorted in either ascending or descending order. At a minimum, you need to have the select clause with one or more columns, and a from clause to specify the table you are getting the rows from. In the example on the slide, I show one of the shortest select statements possible, a select statement from the dual table. The only way it could be shorter would be if the table name was only one character. The select syntax shown in the slide barely scratches the surface. There are many ways to specify tables in the from clause, different ways to join two or more tables, and wherever you can specify a column, you can typically use a constant or an expression involving one or more columns. As with any Oracle feature or syntax, you'll need to look at the Oracle documentation for all possible combinations of the select statement. The slide shows the query block definition from the Oracle documentation. When you run the select statement, whether it's just select star from dual or something that's hundreds of lines with all 6 clauses, use SQL Developer, of course. To run a select statement or any statement in SQL Developer, put the cursor on the statement itself, then either press F9, Control-Enter, or the green triangle, the Run Statement icon. What else can you do in a select clause? The arithmetic operators, of course, when you want to transform one or more columns in the select statement. We'll cover expressions in depth in another video. There are hundreds of built-in functions that might be familiar to you, and you can use these in any select statement. You can also write your own functions using the PL SQL language, which I'll cover in another video. If you don't have a calculator handy, you can use the select statement with built-in functions and the dual table. To sum it all up, the select statement has up to 6 clauses, but you'll often use fewer. At a minimum, you have to have 2, select and from. In the select clause of the select statement, you can reference columns, insert constants, and transform one or more columns to something else using arithmetic operators and built-in functions.